is yours.
Thank you. We'll call it to order at 7:01. Start with roll call. Gail?
Gail Linden?
Chris Gombieski.
Jill Ingber.
Bob Paul. Todd Sproul.
Rick?
Rick Poland.
Mike Wright. Looking for approval of tonight's agenda. Any additions or changes?
Mr. Chair, the only other thing that I did want to put down there for item 8, the election of officers, there should be a D, which would be our ZBA liaison.
Got it. So we're looking for a motion to move as amended.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up, we have 2 months of old meeting minutes, it looks like. August and October to approve.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. We finally did get somebody to do our minutes. So we are now able to be caught up because there was no September meeting.
Okay. Any corrections on those? Gail?
There is a spelling error. I'll catch them later on it. That's the only thing that I found.
Okay.
Okay? I'll have to look to see where it was. There was a spelling error.
You want 2 separate motions for those, Hank? Or can they be done in one?
If you have a correction, then let's take them 2 separate ones. And you can move one amended and one.
Okay. Gail, which one are you looking at?
I'm not sure. I have to look at my notes. I didn't correct it, and I went, oh, I didn't write it down. So let me look and see. It was a homonym, and so it was like, the word was seem, S-E-E-M, and it should be S-E-A-M.
Okay.
Okay? That was the mistake.
Then we can correct the spelling error without that. So if you want to approve.
I move to approve both meeting agendas.
Good job. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, on to site plan review. First one, we have the Saporn residence at 25524 Wareham. Is that you?
Yeah, it is. Hi, Katie Schmitz. I work for JSN Architecture. I prepared the documents that you see in front of you.
Okay.
So, yeah, do you want me to introduce the project?
Yeah, just if you want to take us through it, and then
Yeah.
if when you're done, Hank will add any blanks.
Okay. So, originally the building was permitted with just a single-story rear addition. And the builder elected to do a second story on it, which put the house over square footage, the allowable square footage. So we're asking for a little bit of a relief on that. We meet all the square footage bonuses, with the exception of 26 square feet, which we are asking for, a relief on that.
Mr. Chair, just for clarification, the 26 square feet will come for the Zoning Board of Appeals, which they are already scheduled for next Monday.
Okay.
So you would be approving the project subject to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Which
Okay.
will take place next week.
All right. Anything else to add?
I think that's good.
Okay. Hank, you have pictures you want to bring up, or are you looking at prints?
Yeah, I can do this with the pictures if you'd like. Let me turn the light off here so I can go through it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So basically what we're looking at here, there's a set of circumstances here which are very unfortunate, but the Saporns are here this evening. They've found somebody to help them out of their jam, if you will. Through no fault of their own, their last contractor took an awful lot of liberties, both with the contract and both with the design and the approved project for this. So as a result, they were left, the contractor's nowhere to be found, and so they're trying to finish their project, and this has gone on since 2018. So unfortunately, we have what we have. What we have standing is a rough structure. What these plans that Joe Novitsky has drawn up represent the finished product of what's going to be there, in part based on what was actually built. And I'll go through the plans with you so that you can kind of see what it is that we have going on. The 26 square feet comes after taking out the staircase and all allocable space that we can remove from the project. So they're only needing 26 feet. It's a small ask, so they do have to go to the zoning board of appeals because that's not within the purview of the planning commission. So if you take a look at the first page here, and my cursor's gonna kind of act as a laser, this is the roof overlay to the project, and you can see it's in a straight line. It goes back, they have plenty of room between that and their garage, and it is stepped in off the side. This is their floor layout for what they're hoping to do. There's a little bump out on the first floor to the outside, and that'll come into play, and the reason that I'm showing that to you will come into play when you see what it is, but that is the kitchen. So take a look at the elevation, and you can kind of see what's going on here. So this is the front, and you're not gonna see anything here. This is existing. This is proposed west, the front elevation. This is the proposed south side of the elevation, and I'm gonna enhance this so that you can kind of see a little bit better as to what's going on here. So what they've done is that with their kitchen bump out that they have over here, normally they would have a couple of windows right below this project. But because they can't do that because that's their wall for the kitchen, what they've done is they've put in some herringbone brick pattern to draw some articulation to the wall so that it shows like that there's something else there. It shows that there's a breakup in the architecture, so it doesn't look like there's just a big brick wall with that. There's also the new vent from the range hood that does come out there and exhaust from there. But the herringbone brick design is meant to break up the wall. So what they've done also is they've carried the soldier coursing along the top of this. They've also carried that soldier coursing feature into the first floor bump out, which is it's a nice feature to add to that. You can see that the gutter and downspouts on this are directed towards the back and should not be a problem for that. So this part over here is the existing house, so they're not doing really anything that for the outside with this. You can see the roof line is below the existing house. And then let me get to the other side here. Okay, so then on the other side here, you have windows on both sides. You have the 4 windows, and you also have the gas fireplace addition, which is done with thin brick, so that when it comes out of the wall, it doesn't, you can still have the brick, and it doesn't look sided on that particular side. And again, they're replicating the soldier coursing both on the top and the bottom for the addition. And they meet all the criteria for this. Actually, everything in square footage, lot coverage. The only thing they don't meet is the maximum house size for which they need the 26 square feet. But other than that, if you have any questions, I'm sure myself or I'm sure that they would be happy to answer it. But it's pretty much cut and dry. The addition, the form is there. The window openings are there. Everything is there. So they have to, what they want to do is just be able to finish it at this point and seek the relief for the 26 feet at the ZBA, if that's the pleasure of the planning commission.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. We'll open it up for public participation. Anybody wish to comment? Seeing none, we'll close public participation. Gail, you want to start us off?
I do. I'm glad that hopefully it will come to fruition for you this time. I know it's been a long haul. My question on the thin brick fireplace that I can see on the inside looks like it has a regular hearth. And it doesn't look like that it's a closed, sealed gas fireplace. And so I'm wondering, this is a partial chimney? Is there a vent or something like that for it on that chimney for the fireplace?
No, that will just be a gas fireplace. It's drawn incorrectly.
There'll be a vent that comes out the back of that,
Okay. That will come off the back of the thin brick?
off the bump out,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, because usually we'll see it just like we see the exhaust fan, and I didn't see it,
Yep.
so, you know, I wanted to make sure that it vented properly. The other thing is that all of your other windows in the house are double hung windows, and these seem to be fenestra or crank windows throughout. Any reason, you know, just in changing the look of the windows?
It was to get the appropriate fenestration percentage, and then I believe my clients asked me to match kind of the front windows, to have that 3-panel look on them as well.
The bow windows are crank out.
On
front.
the
It's on the
front, on the front
bottom.
elevation, if you take a look at that,
Okay,
those would be casements on the side.
those are casements?
Yeah, and then on the bow window, there's
Easier.
also gonna be, so the windows, there is precedent for it on there. With the awning, if you take a look at that's for the casements on the one side, if you take a look at the awning windows on the other side,
Okay, yeah,
you got it?
yep, I do.
Okay, then you
I
see,
remember, I grew up on Wareham, so that used to be the Ellis's house, so I know it well. Because in fact, when I saw your survey, it said, you know, the marker is coming from 25474 Wareham, and I went, that's my house. You know, it's like by the fire hydrant, and I go, the fire hydrant is in front of our house, it's in front of the Freilich house next door, 25484, but all of a sudden I saw my address on there, and I went, whoa. So, okay, those were my only questions. Nice, you know, nice plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Chris?
No questions for me.
Thank you. Jill?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, and maybe I missed it, but where the herringbone brick is and those windows, were those existing windows? Like, why are we, this is all new, right? That side is part of the addition?
Yes, so I believe there currently aren't any windows framed in. It's just a rough frame, no drywall or anything. So we had the liberty to be able to put the windows where we felt they were appropriate. And then again, since the stove and there's cabinets there on that one wall, we wanted to kind of emulate a window on that face, since we can't put a window there because it's full of cabinets and everything, so.
Right, okay. That was my only question, I'm trying to understand that.
That's on the side of the house, correct?
that is correct.
Yeah, the
The
south
driveway
side.
side.
Yep.
So was this previously approved in 2017 or?
Well, so I'll back up for the history for you for a bit. It was approved and it was started approximately 2018. So what happened is that they were approved originally for a single-story addition, and the contractor took some liberties. And as a result of those liberties and some ongoing problems that they've had with him, the house comes in with a two-story addition that is now oversized. So as a result, they need a variance of 26 square feet, which they're scheduled to go to the zoning board of appeals Monday. But having said that, they have what they're left with, and basically the guy's nowhere to be found, and they have a frame. Is what they have.
And they framed it for a two-story.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, the
It's
roof is
roofed
there
and-
and
yeah.
everything. So the drawings that you see reflect the drawing from JSN Architecture, which is at this point an as-built with the completion. The frame's there.
Can we flag this contractor?
If we have it, we should.
Picture of that person.
With a one-story addition, it wasn't in need of a variance because this house size wasn't
With the
there.
maximum house size.
And I
wasn't
remember
there,
that
Yeah.
you were in front of the ZBA for an addition, because
Yeah.
I was on the
It
ZBA then.
was, yeah, it was, it's through an unfortunate set of circumstances that they're back at all.
So what was the original one-story plan? Was that a kitchen? And were those,
It
Was that wall
It was
blank?
what you see. They went through a lot of frustration with the contractor and back and forth with various iterations of different plans and that. And the contractor never came through to get anything changed, which he would have obviously had to have done. So, the issue then became, once they went with, Joe Novitsky, was how do they get from point A to point B now with what they have? The building officials looked at the frame, and the frame is tight. So it's not like there's a code issue or anything with the frame the way that it is right now. But, you still have to approve it because it's second story that wasn't gonna be there. And we still have to approve it. If you approve it, it has to be done, with the, ZBA approval in mind.
okay. I guess my point in going backwards a little bit was, I don't want to set a precedent that the herringbone infill replaces a window on an elevation. And if that's a concern, I was hoping that someone could tell me that, well, back in the original one-story plan, there weren't windows there to begin with. And it somewhat sounds like that.
There were not windows in the
Yeah.
original.
Okay.
So the design that was put in was to articulate some interest in the brick that wasn't being expressed on the first floor on that side. So it allows them to give some architectural interest. Is it maybe the most accurate thing? No, but it's a kitchen wall where they have cabinets and, stove and that. So there's not really a whole lot they can do, and it's the drive side. So that was why they went with the herringbone, as I understand it from my conversations with Joe.
Okay. No further questions.
John?
I was gonna have a question on the herringbone, but, I'm gonna pass. No, I have no questions. I understand what you're doing.
Thank you.
Good.
No questions. No questions either. That's great. Looking for a motion?
Motion to approve subject to ZBA approval.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do you want the plans back?
No, that's yours.
Okay.
You got another one?
Oh, I got hundreds.
And we'll see you next Monday for the 26 square feet.
That's still on.
Okay.
7:30. 7:30.
Putting it in my parents' put the two.
Thank you, Katie.
Down at the end of the block, Millicent Berry is still,
Still at the end, isn't she?
huh?
She's at the end.
Did she?
So we'll go.
Okay, next up is.
Oh, wait, yes, it did.
Yeah, no, Bear, and Melissa. Thank you.
I can only imagine.
Miller's still.
You good, Hank?
Yes, I am. We were waiting for a document to come through that just showed up. So
Okay.
it's fortuitous.
Site plan review for an addition at the, is it Sioux?
Yep.
Residence at 13308 LaSalle. Take us through?
I didn't know how much of an introduction I had to do, so this will be a little longer than, I guess, the last group. But my name's Eugene Sue. We live at 133 LaSalle. I live there with my wife and my 3-year-old. We moved here 6 years ago. I'm originally from California. She's from Georgia. We moved out here for medical training. And since then, we've basically fallen in love with the neighborhood. When we bought the house, they even said, "Oh, you bought a house on the best block in the woods." And so
Can we strike the,
we didn't really know the significance of that saying until many years down the line. Neighborhoods have basically become family at this point. They've all taken part in raising our child. My daughter Kate's best friend is literally 5 houses down the street, and another one is 1 block up on the street. We've really grown to love the neighborhood. Since this time, we've actually had to move her family from Atlanta up to here to move a little bit closer to us. And as a result, we're hoping to basically enroll her in preschool and settle and expand the house a little bit more to accommodate for a little bit more guests to come over and have fun in our family room. And I guess I can outline a little bit of the general plan. We were hoping to expand the kitchen into an open concept kitchen with a living space with large windows. The windows will overlook the backyard. Liz's mom, who's now passed, was actually really big into gardening, and she actually gave us a lot of the plants that we have in our backyard that we're hoping to get a little bit better view of from the dining room area. Hoping to also close off the wall to the bedroom area where our daughter sleeps so we can have friends over. Upstairs, we're hoping to do an expansion to add a little more light into the bungalow-style house that we have right now. The ceiling's a little bit slanted, a little bit low. I'm a little bit on the taller side, and I always wanted to be a little more comfortable up there. We'll make a modest expansion to the bathroom and as well to the closet.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything anything else?
I'm Jeffrey Nickel from Studio 515. Just a couple things. There is a current sunroom on the back. It has a stone skirt. Our intention is to continue that stone skirt that matches the front chimney and the front columns onto the lower part of the elevations. All the siding will be replaced with a composite siding similar to hardy board, because obviously we're adding additional space. And then all the windows will, right now they are mostly weather guard, so we have quotes to have weather guard that would match the existing. And I think that's it. We can, as far as setbacks were fine, lot coverage were fine, maximum house size were well under, and so therefore it's just based on design and your guys' approval.
Great, thank you. Hank?
Yeah, let me see if I can grab Mr. Paul's long arm again. Thank you, sir. So basically what we're looking at here, we're looking at a modest overall addition to the house. They are well under the square feet by almost 700 square feet. So they have they haven't maxed this out at all. The front yard is the same. The side yards have a total of almost 20.5 feet. The rear yard has got a huge setback at 55 feet. The lot coverage is only 27.63. And again, the house size comes in at 2448. So they're well in. It's like they got this without even adding any of the bonuses in. So they did a nice job, and we were appreciative of that. So if you take a look at what they're trying to do here, and I'll go right to the elevations because that's where you're going to have some questions. The front elevation here, this is the stone that Jeff was talking about here, and then he's carrying that around with a base on the back addition. He is using a siding off the back, which will differentiate for the old from the new. And then again, he's got windows that on this side are casement windows. And then you go to the back, and the back is like almost completely glass on the rear elevation for that, which adds a tremendous amount of light into the back room. Up top where you have is the siding, which again, that's already not over the existing foundation, so that's gonna be siding. Then you have over here the casement windows again, which allows for an awful lot of air and an awful lot of light in the back portion of this. And then on the other side over here, if you take a look at this, you have the sliding glass door, which allows for a fair amount of fenestration on that side and breaks it up. And again, they also have the stone on that particular side, and they have a small window on this side over here so that they pick up a little bit more on the elevation. This is really, they're just really not maxing this out. I mean, that's a first floor addition for the most part, and reworking the second floor to accommodate some additional people. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward and simple addition. If you have any questions, I'm sure that Mr. Nickel or myself could answer it, or Mr. Sue could as well. So I'll leave the elevations up if there's any questions, and with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Hank. We'll open it up for public participation. Anybody wishing to comment? If you could come up to the podium, give us your name and address for the record.
Sure, my name is Scott Nolan. I live at 13316 LaSalle. I live right next door. I looked at the plans, they're fantastic, so I'm really happy with it.
Great, thank you. Appreciate you coming in, thanks.
Hello, my name is Carlos Guerra. I live a couple houses down from Eugene. Plans look great. I think it's a welcome addition to the best block in the woods.
Thank you. Thanks for the support.
We all have to move.
No, we don't.
All right, we'll close public participation. Bob, you want to start us off?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
The only question I have, and I'm assuming this is gonna happen, is the siding is gonna be consistent from the old to the new, all that stuff, wraparound, all that?
Yes, all the siding will be replaced. Hank, if you can go to the second floor. So right now, nope, the second floor, one back, please, two back.
And I'm trying here.
Yep. Okay, we can discuss it still. There we go. So right now, the dormer is actually only for the bathroom right now. So basically approximately where the new toilet is where the dormer is. So that's just a little piece of siding on the back there. And so obviously when we're expanding it out, we need to reside it. And then on the front is horrible, fake shake vinyl. And so therefore, like we said, all the two shake areas there, as well as we'll call it lap over on the right side. And then all the siding will be replaced to a composite product.
Okay.
So this shake that's there now,
Yes.
vinyl shake, what's that getting replaced with?
It's going to be a composite shake.
It'll be okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Good?
No other questions, I'm good.
All right, Rick.
Nice job.
No questions.
Jill?
I think it looks great. I appreciate how you aesthetically, like the stone skirt matching the stone you brought into the back. I think it looks really nice.
Thanks, Joe. Chris?
No questions for me either.
Gail?
I think it looks great. It's gonna be just the composite shake in the front, and then in the back, it's all gonna be all composite 1-inch, sort of hardy, siding, is that what it is? Including the dormer above the bathroom here or whatever that is over there?
Yeah, that would be traditional lap, yep. And then there is a small spot on the front there by the bedroom window
Okay.
that has lap on it, that's existing. But
Okay. Looks great. I won't ask the same question again. This time I do see that there are casement windows in the front above the fireplace. And so it was okay to put casement windows in the back. That's the new thing, gets in more light.
I agree. Looks great. Nice job.
Thank you.
Want to make a motion?
Move to approve the plan as proposed.
So-
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Did you want plans?
Want 'em?
No, you can give them.
Nope.
We'll recycle them.
Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah.
Take care.
Hank, next up, we've got some traffic light updates.
Yeah, I did want to point out that because I wanted to update you regularly on what's going on with our safe routes to school and complete streets. We have been working, right now, we're waiting on the grant with 11 Mile to see what happens with that, like I told you at the last meeting. And again, we don't anticipate hearing anything from that until January, and that's with our partners for Oak Park and Berkeley. On Coolidge, we have started working and looking at other grant opportunities with the city of Oak Park and seeing where we might enhance our Coolidge frontage with that. So we did have a TIA study done, so we do have that information, but we haven't correlated it into a grant application yet. So until we do, I don't have much to tell you on that. Other than that is still moving forward. I didn't want you to think we were sitting on this. So Coolidge is still underway. The 11 Mile with Berkeley, we'll have information back on that quick. We also have been working on, we've been looking with SEMCOG and National League of Cities and different opportunities that we have. Just because we get one grant doesn't stop us from applying for more than that. This is an important project. It was very high on your priority list, if not the most high thing, because what's more important than our kids? And so we want to be on top of this, and that's where we intend to be. So I just did want to update you that we have met with the city of Berkeley. We have had Zoom calls with them, not Berkeley, I'm sorry, Oak Park. So we are moving forward on that front as well.
Is there any indication of where that break may happen yet on Coolidge? I mean, I think we talked, like, there's potential.
We're looking at the potential for something along the Winchester Balfour area for crossing on that side. And the reason for that is that we have a large percentage of people from Oak Park that do come over and use the park. We also have a large percentage of Huntington Woods kids that cross because the middle school's in Oak Park. And they don't go down to Lincoln for it. Sometimes they dodge and play dodge cars just like they do on 11 Mile on Coolidge. And to get another means for them to cross, a safe means for them to across and slow some of that traffic down there would be a big plus. So that's kind of where we're working towards. That's kind of where we're at right now. But we have to talk with Oak Park and discuss the TIA results and come up with and kind of broker our best plan. But that's gonna take both of us to make sure that we're okay on that.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Do you want to walk us through election of officers?
Yeah, first I'd like to take the opportunity is we're going to be losing a couple members off the planning commission. And first, I'll thank Mayor Paul for his time served on the planning commission. As you know, the city commission rotates a voting member onto the planning commission, which is really excellent, and we always appreciate the concern of the commission and how things are going and how things are done. So I would like to thank Mayor Paul for his time on the commission here. Again, it's a lot of time. It's one of the boards or commissions that does require a lot of time, so I thank you for putting yours in. So, and then I'd also be extremely remiss if I didn't thank our current chairman, Mike Wright. Mike has been on for 2 terms and is term limited and will be going off of this board. Maybe we'll see him resurface somewhere else. But in the meantime, Mike, you've been exemplary on this board, and I want to thank you again. And now we have to move on to our replacements. So we have 4 officers that we have to do. We have the chair, which is Mike currently. We have the vice chair, which is Rick currently. We have the secretary, which we talked Jill into. And we will also have a ZBA liaison that we have to appoint, because Mike has not only served as the representative is not only as our chairman, but also as our representative to the zoning board of appeals. So having said that, what we'll need is a nomination, and then once we get a nomination, there's more than one person that can be nominated, with the understanding that it takes 5 votes to get somebody elected for this position. So if you have more than one person that's interested or more than one person that is nominated for this, we'll take a vote on it. If the first person doesn't get 5 votes, we'll take a vote on the second person. If the second person doesn't get 5 votes, then we'll defer this until the next meeting, because we'll have to have this has to be settled one way or another. We have to have that. And we'll have 2 new people on at the next meeting, which will happen in January. So having said that, Mr. Chair, the floor is yours, and you can open it for nominations.
Okay, we'll start with chair. Any nominations there?
I nominate Todd Sproul for chair.
Do we look for a second or just an immediate vote?
Well, are you interested?
Todd, if you wanted it, it is yours.
Well,
That was too easy.
that was real quick, Rick. Are you agreeable to the nomination?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And then you would ask
I can
if
approve that
there's any other nominations.
Okay, anybody else? All right, take a vote all in favor for Todd?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck, buddy.
Just so you know that Rick and Mike are both behind you.
Yeah, I feel the love.
Okay.
Group hug there.
We'll look for a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Rick to stay in the chair.
I
Interested?
second the
Yes.
nomination.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Secretary?
Anybody else want it?
I'll nominate you again, Jeff.
I'm still not sure what it means.
You're very good at it.
I know.
It looks good on your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, we gotta add it there.
All right, all in favor, Jill, maintaining her secretary role?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, great.
And, sorry, what was the last one? Oh,
ZBA
ZBA liaison.
ZBA liaison. And again, that is a voting member to the zoning board of appeals.
So
Yeah.
do we know do we have to know who's on the ZBA?
No.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Does Anybody want it first? Chris?
I will take it.
You wanna take it?
Okay. I nominate Rick.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
So, Hank, how do we find the replacement then for Mike? Are you the only one coming off?
You don't. The city commission will appoint somebody,
Oh, it's
and
appointed.
then it's a city commission appointment, and,
Actually, it's a mayoral appointment.
well, it's a mayoral appointment.
One of my few things I get to do.
One of the real decision-making powers you have.
I've always wondered.
So,
And Sheldon and Blake are staying on.
yeah.
Okay.
Sheldon was fulfilling Gordon's term, and so he has some more time on that. And then Blake is at the end of his first term is all.
Okay.
So that'll be up to the city commission, or the mayor. So for that, so that would be it. That would
Is this,
be
I
it.
think this might be my second term.
Oh, no, nice
No.
try.
No?
I think you have one more year.
Oh, okay.
I think this is the end of my first term, next year is the end of my first term
Right.
on this, because I've done,
You're not
ZBA
going,
a
you're
lot.
not going anywhere.
Do we have people in the wings waiting?
There
There's,
Okay.
yeah.
There are some,
Good.
but it's not too late for people to apply if they're interested.
do we know which commissioner is coming to the planning commission?
I didn't look at the list, I believe it's Joe Rosel's turn.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Well, before you, it was
That's-
Jeff, wasn't it?
Jules,
5
no,
years.
Jules.
It was Jeff, then Jules, then you. So yeah, it's gotta be Joe.
And Michelle.
It's never been
It's
Michelle.
never, we haven't seen Michelle.
Well, then it might be
Well,
Michelle.
that'll-
Michelle or Jill.
Yeah.
The commission will handle that.
There's a 5-year rotation that we follow.
So, and they all have different boards and commissions, and most have more than one board or commission, so. Other than that, Mr. Chair, that's all I have for the evening.
Is there a city commission member on each board?
There are
Just one.
liaisons to each board, but there are not voting members to each board. Currently, for the boards that I handle, the Historic District Commission and the Planning Commission are the only two voting members.
And those are the only 2 that were voting members, huh?
Okay. Gotcha. All right, seeing no public, we'll open and close public participation. Looking for a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
It's